Hey everyone, and welcome to day 4 of health. I know you're all super excited to be back. Yay, health time. Get excited. Okay. We are talking about goal setting today, and we went over that last time in class. We kind of looked at our personal health behaviors and maybe where we were a little bit lacking in our personal health behaviors. So you do need to watch today's video and get through today's quiz. And then there is going to be an in-class assignment, like always. But if you don't get through it, don't worry about it. Tomorrow is going to be a day where it's very light on notes, and the video will be very short, and you will have majority of the class time to get caught up on any in-class assignments that you haven't yet finished. So don't be too stressed out, because there is a lot today to get through. So watch the video, get through the notes, get the quiz taken, and then if you don't get to the in-class assignment, don't stress. It doesn't need to be done for homework. You'll be able to come in and have majority of class time to get some work done tomorrow and get everything caught up. Your All About Me Square will be due at the end of the day tomorrow. So if you haven't gotten that done, the All About Me Square is due by the end of the day tomorrow. All right, let's get started. Warm up. Here we go. So your warm up is a goal is something you want to, something that you want that takes planning and work. So a goal is something you want that takes planning and work. Write a few sentences about a goal you have for this week and a goal you have for the end of the year. So you're basically just journaling about a couple things that you would like to accomplish by the end of this week, and a couple things or one thing that you'd like to accomplish by the end of this school year. Okay. Once you finish that, you're going to flip over your page, and you're moving, so it's on the back of the page. You've turned your page over, and we're into our notes. Okay. A goal, I'm going to put this down and put it like this. Okay. So we just kind of gave you the definition in the warm-up, but you're going to write it down also. A goal is something you want to accomplish that takes planning and work. So it's not something that you can just say, hey, I'm going to become the best basketball player in the school. Well, you can't accomplish that just because you said it, okay? You want to accomplish it, but it takes planning and it takes work. You have to be willing to put in the work to achieve a goal. A short-term goal is something you can realistically accomplish in a short amount of time, 4 weeks or less. So we're talking short-term is a month or less. So if you are creating a short-term goal, by the end of December, you would be able to accomplish that goal. So a short-term goal could be something like, I want to turn my homework in every single day for this entire month. That can be a short-term goal. A short-term goal can be something like, I want to eat an apple every morning for breakfast for the next 2 weeks. So you can do that, okay? Those are short-term goals. A short-term goal is not something like saying, I'm going to be valedictorian of my high school, okay? You would set short-term goals along the way, like turning all your homework in, studying for a half hour every night, things like that. But a short-term goal is something that is short-lived. It's not going to be long, couple weeks, at the most a month. Comparative to a long-term goal is something you want to achieve that takes months or years. So saying you're going to be valedictorian of your high school can take years, because you're in the 6th grade. So we're talking years before you're a senior in high school. Saying you want to make it to the NBA, saying that you want to have a job as soon as you turn 16. Those are long-term goals. Those are years away. Okay? It could also be something that's months away. So by the end of this school year, I'm going to have all A's on my report card. Or I am going to become I'm going to eat healthy every day from now to the end of this school year. Okay? And what does that look like? So a long-term goal is something that takes months or years to achieve. All right. We're going to talk now about setting goals and what the goal setting process looks like. All right? So titling this section of your notes, the goal setting process. Number 1 says it is specific. You have to state exactly what you want to accomplish, okay? Things that are not specific are like, I want to lose weight. I want to get better at math. I want to be nice to people. Those are not specific. They sound specific, but there is no way to measure it, okay? So Here's one that's not specific. I want to eat healthy foods. More specific would make it, I want to eat a fruit or vegetable with every meal. Okay, so you have to give yourself a way to measure it. You have to give yourself a way to know if you are actually meeting your goal or you're not meeting your goal. Okay, so state exactly what you want to accomplish and then exactly how you're going to do it so that you can measure it. Okay, so it can't just be like, I want to get better at this, or I want to do more of these things. You have to give me, I want to do more push-ups, right? That's not specific enough. You need to say, I want to do 10 push-ups every morning and 10 more push-ups every single night. Okay, so you can't just say, I want to do more, or I want to study. Well, how, when, what? Be specific. I'm going to study 30 minutes every day as soon as I get home. I'm going to get my homework completed every single day before 7 o'clock. Okay, so give a specific scenario to the goal that you set. Number 2, it needs to be important. You need to want to accomplish this goal. If you don't want to eat a fruit or vegetable with every meal, you are not going to eat a fruit or vegetable with every meal. So you have to have something that is meaningful to you. Okay, if you don't want to be kind to people, if you don't really care if people like you or they don't, you're not going to want to accomplish that. Okay, if you need something that you strongly want to accomplish, something that you really find important and that you'd really like to change in your life to make better. Okay, the 3rd step, and these all should be written down. Check progress. You have to have a measurable goal. So when we say that it has to be specific, you can measure this. All right, I want to eat a fruit or vegetable with every single meal. You know if you did that or you didn't. Okay, you have to be able to measure it. Can you check your progress? I want to lose 10 pounds. You can weigh yourself at the end of every week or even at the end of every day to see if you're losing weight. Okay, so you need to have a way that you're going to measure it. I want to be nice to people is not specific enough because that cannot be measured. So you need to say something like, I'm going to give 3 compliments every single day. Or I am not going to tell my mom no. Those can be measured. How many times did you tell your mom no today? Like, you can count those. Did you give out your 3 compliments today? Like, you can count that. Okay, so that's something that you can measure. Maybe you want to do better at anger management. Okay, so instead of saying I'm not going to get angry at people, that's not specific enough. So that's a not specific goal. So you want to give something more specific, like I will count to 10 before I respond when I start to feel angry. Okay, and then you can measure that. Did you count to 10 every single time before you responded when you were starting to feel angry? Okay, so you have to be able to check the progress and make sure it is measurable. All right, barriers. What can keep us from reaching our goals? Okay, there's lots of things that can keep you from reaching your goals. So some barriers include friends. They might include your parents. It might include homework time, depending on what your goal is. So like, let's say your goal is eating healthy foods and your parents don't buy any. That's a barrier to you. If you want to eat a fruit or vegetable with every meal and there's no fruit or vegetables at your house, that is a barrier. Okay, if you want to eat healthy foods and there is no selection of healthy foods that you like in the lunch line, that is a barrier. Okay, so what are some things that can keep you from reaching your goal? Maybe you say, I want to be able to make 9 out of 10 free throw shots. What is a barrier to that? Okay, maybe you don't have a place to practice. That would be a barrier to reaching your goal. Maybe your mom won't take you somewhere to practice. That would be a barrier to reaching your goal. Maybe your friends say, no, we don't want to practice basketball. Let's go do this instead. That's a barrier to reaching your goal. Okay, so anything that can get in your way and keep you from reaching your goal is a barrier. You also have support. Who is going to help you along the way? Who is your support system? Okay, so your parents can also be great support. Your friends can be great support. Okay, your teachers can be support. Your coaches can be support. Who is going to help you along the way? If you want to get better at basketball, Maybe your mom does take you. That is supporting you. She's taking you to a gym to help you practice. Maybe your dad goes out in the driveway and practices with you. That is support system. Maybe you have a friend that's like, hey, did you practice your basketball today? Let's go out and get it and practice it. That is a support system. Okay, that is someone who's going to help you along the way. All right, number 6 says time limit. You have to make it realistic. Okay, you cannot say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 2 days. That is impossible. And you're not going to say, I am going to be able to make 10 out of 10 free throws every time I try if you haven't shot a free throw in a year. Like, that's not realistic. Okay, so yeah, A, set a time limit. B, make your goal realistic. Okay, so you had 6 steps to the goal setting process, and there's 7, but I'm going to get to that one in just a minute. That should already be written down in your notes. Okay, you should be thinking. We talked about the personal health behaviors that we maybe want to change, about what you want your goal to be. And we are going to set a goal, and we're going to set a timeline, and we're going to follow this entire method right here of this goal setting process. Okay, the most important thing is when you're writing your goal down that you make it specific and that you make it realistic. You can't, if you have all F's, you can't say in 3 weeks I'm going to have all A's. That is not realistic. You can't do that. The time frame is too short, and B, that's just not a realistic goal. So if you want to say I'm going to have all A's by the end of the year, that's different. That gives you some time to get your grades up, to study for tests, to start turning in your homework. But 3 weeks is too short, not realistic. Okay? You can't say I am going to control my anger every single day starting tomorrow, when you yell and scream and get mad at everybody every second of the day like this now. That's unrealistic. You can't change that by tomorrow. You can change that over the course of a couple weeks by putting in some different practices and different systems to help you control and manage your anger, but you can't just change overnight. Okay, that's unrealistic. It's too short of a time frame. So think about those things when you're setting your goal. Don't make your goal generic, make it specific. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow also, okay? We're gonna be working on short-term goals in class, but it's also good to set long-term goals, and then you break those down and set short-term goals along the way. Like, I'm gonna be valedictorian. I'm gonna have all A's on this next progress report. I'm going to get my homework done before 6 o'clock every single night. I am going to study for 30 minutes the night before a test. So those are some short-term goals that you can set to help yourself along the way to being valedictorian. So the long-term goal is important, but the short-term goal is what keeps you on track to hit that long-term goal, okay? All right, the last thing is celebrate. So that's number 7. Celebrate with, I can't read it. Celebrate without derailing your goal, okay? So if you said, I'm gonna lose weight, do not celebrate with cake after you've reached your goal of losing 5 pounds, okay? So you can't say, I'm going to turn all my homework in for the next week, and then you're like, yes, I turned all my homework in, I met my goal, I did so great, I'm not going to do any homework tonight. That can't be how you celebrate. So you have to be able to celebrate without derailing your goal. So still stay on track, but congratulate yourself at the same time. Maybe if you pick the losing weight, instead of eating cake, you go buy a new sweater, or you get a new pair of jeans. Okay, so celebrate your successes, because that's important. You want to congratulate yourself, you're proud of yourself, but do so in a way that you're not going to derail your goal. Okay, all right, let's get to these wrap-up questions. And then, all right, what's the difference between long-term and short-term goals? And we just talked about that just a second ago. In your opinion, what are 3 of the most important steps to setting a goal, and why? So there was 7 steps to your goal setting process that we just wrote down. You should have written down. I kept them on the notes the entire time. So those 100% need to be written down in your notebook. So what are, of those 7, what 3 do you think are most important? And then tell me why. Okay, make sure that you add in the why in that wrap-up question, because in the quiz, I asked for the why. If you don't give it to me, you don't get your points. So make sure you say why you think those are the most important steps. Number 3, how can setting goals help us change some of our current health behaviors and lead a healthier life? Okay, how can setting goals help us change some of our current health behaviors and lead a healthier life. So we just talked about health behaviors last class, and how we have the health knowledge, but our behaviors don't always match that knowledge. So how can setting a goal help us to do better with those behaviors? How can having a plan in place help us get better at our behaviors so that we can lead a healthier life? So that's what we're working on. That's what we're talking about, because the knowledge is there, but we need the plan to change the behaviors. And I just gave you the answer pretty much, but still put what you put your own spin on that. Okay. All right. When you're finished with this, take the quiz. When you're done with the quiz, you have the in-class assignment. If you finish the in-class assignment, we had some in-class assignments last week, and we had an extra credit, kind of, not really extra credit, but extra special assignment that if you do it, you get a little prize. So if you get that done, if you get this stuff done, go and do those things. Okay, have a great day. Bye.